today's tutorial will be on how to make this beautiful gown with a basque effect with cup. If that sounds like something you are interested in, please continue watching and don't forget to subscribe to this channel.
Is what we are going to need for this tutorial. You need your bra cup. This is the fabric that we are using for it. I'm using bridal satin for the lining, and this is what we are going to use for the upper part. This is estate. This one is optional, but I'm using it to make the fabric stronger because I'm working with a very light fabric. And this is our zipper. So I will not be drafting on this fabric because it might not show, so I will be using pattern paper to draft on it. Then after drafting on the pattern paper, I'm going to cut it out on the fabric. So before I start, I will mark straight line, and I will be taking all my measurements from this line. Now I'm just using this for a guide. So I have a straight line, so anything that I want to take now will be on that line. Any measure after you have marked this straight line, I'm going to, from this line, I'm going to mark half inch. So from this new line, I will mark half inch. I'll mark it down like 3 inches. Half inch, I'll connect it into a straight line. This is for it. So this is it. I'll just place my cup like this to know my under bust. So this is where my under bust will start. So I'll just mark it like this place. That is where my under bust will start. So I will check what I have. I have 4.5, so I'll mark that 4.5, and I'll connect it into a straight line. So now I already know that this is my under bust. The under bust is 13, so I'll place the tape. I'll place 13 on that line. Then I'll mark my shoulder to the waistline. The shoulder to the waist is 17. You connect the point also. After this, you need your basque effect. I will use 6 inches for the basque effect. You can use 5, you can use 3, depending on what you want. So so this is it. So the first line will be the under bust line. This line will be the waistline, and this line will be the basque line. Take this my cup, this cup, I'll place it like this. Make sure that the cup is sitting on the under bust line. So you mark it like this. You can slant, you can leave it like this, you can slant it, depending on how you place it on it like this. Then you are going to mark it round. And you stop. This is where you stop. So this is what I have. So this point now, I'll just mark it and do it like this. So you will not cut it out like this. You are going to add your seam allowance, because if you cut it out like this, this place is going to be wider than the cup. So you mark half inch, you go in by half inch. From this point, you go in by half, you mark it round, then you connect it together. So this is the line that I will be cutting out when I want to cut it. So I will marking my round measurement. The bust I'm working with is 34 divided by 4 will give me 8.5. So I'll mark the 8.5 here. I'll come to the waistline. The waist is 28 divided by 4 is 7. I will mark the 7 here. Then connect the both line together. After you have done that, now you have connected it together like this, then you add your seam allowance. So I'll be adding 1.5 inch, or you can, let's use 1 inch. 1 inch, you can use 1.5, you can use 1 inch. So I'm using 1.5, 1.5, then 1.5. So I'll connect it together like this. So this is it. Bear in mind that we are cutting, use one pattern for the front and the back. So I will not be cutting out the bust shape here. I will not be cutting out the cup here. I will use it to cut out the back. Then when I cut it finish, I'm going to cut the front. So now you come to this point and connect this point and this point together. Don't connect it on the seam allowance. Remember, this is our seam allowance. Connect it together like this, and that is it. So now you come to this upper part. You are going to connect this point. You can connect it into a straight line like this. So this is where this end. So we just take it like this, slanted. Just connect it like this, and that's all for this part. If we want to use it to cut out the front and the back, this part for the back must be on a straight like this. So if you want to cut it, this is how you are going to cut it. So now we need to add our seam allowance on this point, or you can add your seam allowance when you want to cut it on the fabric. But let me add it. So you add, come down to this point, you add 1/2 inch, then you take it like this. Then on this part also you add 1/2 inch. So this is it. Then this upper part, you are going to add allowance to it also. That's all for the drafting. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it. So this is it, the front. This is what we have now. So I'll place it on another paper and cut it out, but and cut out the back. So on this straight line, we want to take our zipper allowance. So I will mark 1 inch or 1.5. Let's do 1.5. I'm marking the zipper line. After marking, then you connect it to have a straight line like this. So this is our, now you will take the front and place it on it like this. So you place it on it like this to cut out the back from the front. So this part, as you can see, this is how it's going to be. So you just cut it out like this. So this is it. We have two. As you can see, we have two. This is the back. The back is having a zipper line. So this is it. So what you are going to do is, remember we had, this is the cup that you are going to cut out, and is the cup is starting from this point. So you open it up like this, then mark it, Then you cut out that new line. So this is it. This is what we have. This is the front. What I will do now is place this on another fabric, then I'm going to cut it out, then show you the next thing to do.
This is my fabric. This is the lining that I'm using. So I folded the fabric into two and I marked the zipper allowance. But since we have already cut out same allowance for the zipper on the main fabric, you don't need to add it again. I already made a tutorial before, but I noticed that I lost a clip. That is why you are seeing different pattern on this video. Pin your fabric and your pattern paper, pin it together. After pinning it, you are going to cut it out, but when cutting, if you do not add your seam allowance on this upper part, make sure you add it. So what I'm doing here is I'm cutting it out. Cut it out and don't forget to add all your seam allowance on the side and the zipper side. After you add all the seam allowance, you can now cut. So this part is on fold, so I'm going to slash it open because you are going to have two back. You need to have two back, then one front. So I already slash it open and this is what we have here. After opening the folded part, I make sure I notch that zipper allowance. So I notch it on the both side. So I will remove the pins and this is the back pattern. Then I will place another fabric on fold and cut out the
So
front.
you take the fabric again and you are going to fold it into two. So when you are doing it, make sure this part is on fold. This part is going to be on fold when you are cutting it. And don't forget to add your seam allowance here and the upper part also. So this is it. Don't forget you are going to add half inch. I'm going to add half inch for the seam allowance on this upper part. You will not add it. We already added it to this point. Now you are going to cut it. This is it. Now I will remove the pins and show you what we have for the front and the back. So this is what we have. As you can see, the basque effects here, and this is the back. This is how the back is. To use lining to cut out the main fabric. I'll come back and show you after that. This is the main fabric that we are using. I already cut out, like I said, I'm going to cut out. This is what we have. This is the front and this is the lining. What I did here is I just had estate to it. So you go ahead to place it. You place it like this. Make sure everything is equal. Then you take it to your sewing machine and sew this point. You sew this point and this point, half inch, or for this is for the front. Then for the back, this is for the two back. This is the lining. I will place it like this, right side facing each other.
After placing it on each other like this, you are going to take it to your sewing machine and go ahead to go and join it by the allowance you added. I will go ahead to join it the way I'm touching that place I'm touching. That is where I'm going to sew by half
This is
inch.
it. I have go ahead to sew the upper part. I'm going to sew it. So if you open it, this is what you will have. So I will need to trim off the excess on that part. Trim off the excess on this part. It's already trim it, then you turn it to this right side. This is what you have. So this is it. After trimming, I will turn it to the other side, to the right side. That sharp part, you are going to notch it. So this is the two back. This is the two back, and this is the one for the front. So let me go ahead to go and iron it, then come back and show you. This is what you have. This is for the front. This is the front. What I will do now is I will go ahead to iron it very flat, and this is the back also. This is the two back. This is the front now. This is the front. Done ironing, and this is the back. This is the back. This is the right side, and this is the wrong side. Iron everything. Then so what I would go ahead to do now is to go and join this part, that back part. I'll go ahead to go and sew it around like this. I'll do the same thing for this one before I fix my cup. So this is it. I've joined the back and the front together. I've joined the lining and the main fabric together. And this is the two cup here.
The video on how to make the bra cup, how to add your fabric of choice to the bra cup is already on the channel. I will put the link in the description box. Do well to check it out. I decided to make it to two because this video is already too long. That's why I cut out that part, but it's already on the channel.
Go ahead to fold this part into two, then notch it. Notch the center. You can chalk it if you don't want to notch. You come to the cup, you fold it into two like this also. Then you notch the center.
Repeat the same process for the other cup.
So to fix it, this is the center of it, and this is the center of the fabric. You match the center of the fabric with the center of the cup. Then you take your pin and pin the main fabric and the cup together. Then you take this edge part and this edge part, you match it together also. So you match it together, you pin it. Don't forget, it's very important because the both of them need to be equal. Then after that, you match this part also. Then you match it to this one, and you are going to pin it as well. So this is it. After when you are done, so I'm going to sew it by 1/4 inch. I'll fold it here, then sew it by 1/4 inch, sewing it. So I'll go ahead to fix this other one like this one, then I'll come back. So this is it now. I already joined the cup. This is what we have inside. So what I will do, I will go ahead to go and weave this part, this rough edge. I will just weave it, or you can use your bias to to close it. You can use your bias to it, but I will be weaving this part. Now I'll bring the back. This is the back. I'll place it on it like this and do the same thing for this part. What you need to do is to take your measurement on the side. I added 1.5 for seam allowance, so I will take that 1.5 like this, connect it. Do the same thing for this other side. So I'll go ahead to go and join this part, then join this part. So I have joined the both side, the front and the back, and this is what we have.
It is time to cut out the gathers part. To do that, I'll place my tape like this. I'll place my underbust on the other bust. The underbust is 13. I'm going to place that 13 on the exactly on the underbust. The waist length is 17. If you are marking it, make sure you are marking on the waistline. Don't include the basque length on your measurement. So if I remove the 17, which is our waist, shoulder to the waist is 17. If I remove it from the full length of the gown is 40 inches. If I remove the 17 from it, I will have 23 inches. So I will add 2 inches to it. That will give me 25. I added 2 inches because we are going to fold the hem of the gathers. Then you need half inch also to join the lower part to the upper part. So that's all for what you are going to cut out. To know the actual amount you are going to cut out for the gathers, it depends on the fabric that you have left. So here you can multiply your hip by 3, hip multiply by 3. But here I have enough fabric, so I'm doing hip divide multiply by 5. I have enough fabric, that's why I'm using hip multiply by 5. You can use hip multiply by 2.5 depending on the fabric that you have.
I'll place my tape here, then mark 25 inches.
After marking out the 25 inches for the gathering, you are going to cut it out. I already cut it out and I already join it because I have two pieces, so I have to join it together. That's why you are seeing seam line on it. Now this is how you are going to gather it on your machine. I'm going to do a manual gathering and I'm going to show you how we are going to do that. I already placed the upper part and the lower part, which is the fabric that we are going to gather. Then I'm sewing it by half inch. If you want to start your gathering, make sure that you did not gather the zip allowance. So this is how you are going to be picking it. You picking it small like if you want to do a pleat, but this time around is just a tiny pleat. That is how you are going to fold it. So watch what I'm doing very closely. So here it is, we already exhaust the fabric as you can see, and that is all for how to gather your fabric manually. So I'm going to turn it for you to see what we have now. This is it after we finish the gathers, and this is what we have. So I will take you to the cutting table now to show you the next thing we need to do. So this is what the gown is looking like now. I already go ahead to fold the 1.5 inches on the down part. I already hemmed the down part. So this is what the back is looking like. After I finish joining everything, I'm going to take it to my weaving machine and weave all the rough parts. Now we need to cut out the rope for the upper part. So here I already cut out a piece of fabric measuring 15 inches in length. I cut out two. then 2.5 inches width. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to fold it into two, then I'm going to sew it by 1/4 inch. I will sew the two by 1/4 inch. After sewing it, I'm going to turn it to the right side. We are sewing the wrong side, so I'm going to turn it to the right side and iron it very flat. So this is it, making sure that the joining part is at the center. Now we need to join the strap to the gown. From the center part, I'm going to measure the nipple to nipple measurements, which is 7. So I will mark 3.5. I will do the same thing for this other part. That is where we are going to place the strap. So you are going to place the strap inside the cup, not outside. You are going to place it inside the cup, then you pin it. You repeat the same process for the other part. After you finish doing the two, then you turn it to the back. You are going to place it on the back also. Before you mark the back, you need to mark out the zipper allowance. We added 1.5 inch for zipper allowance. I'm going to mark it. So from that place, that is where I'm going to mark my nipple to nipple measurements, which is 3.5. So that's 3.5. That is where I'm going to place the strap. Repeat the same process for the other side also. After that, you place your strap on it. You pin your strap on it. Then after pinning the both strap, you are going to take it to the sewing machine and sew it down. Then after sewing it, go ahead to add your zipper, and that is all for this tutorial. If you have watched to this point, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, share this video to your family and friends so YouTube can promote this video, can show this video to so many people, and that will help the channel. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys in another video. Bye bye.